Have you heard of D.B. Cooper? This name is synonymous with one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in U.S. history. On November 24, 1971, an unidentified man who introduced himself as Dan Cooper bought a one-way ticket on Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305, departing from Portland to Seattle. What started as a routine flight turned into one of the most audacious and enigmatic hijackings of all time. Cooper hijacked the plane, demanded a ransom of $200,000, and then parachuted out of the aircraft in the middle of the night, disappearing without a trace. Since then, investigators, both amateur and professional, have been trying to solve this mystery, but to this day, no one knows for sure who D.B. Cooper was or what happened to him. In the 1970s, airport security was virtually non-existent. There were no metal detectors or any other form of passenger screening. Hijackings were relatively common at that time. According to a study published in 1986 in the American Journal of Sociology, there were 326 hijackings worldwide between 1968 and 1972, averaging more than one per week. Taking advantage of this vulnerability, D.B. Cooper, as he became known to the media, managed to enter Portland International Airport. Witnesses described Cooper as a calm-looking man in his 40s, dressed in a black suit, tie, and white shirt, and wearing sunglasses. Upon boarding the Boeing 727, Cooper took seat 18E at the back of the plane, which had about one-third of its capacity filled, 36 passengers. While the flight was waiting to take off, he ordered a drink, bourbon with soda. Around 3 p.m., shortly after takeoff, Cooper calmly handed a note to flight attendant Florence Schaffner. She tried to ignore it, thinking it was a come-on, and threw the paper into her bag without reading it. But the man leaned in and said, "You'd better read the note. I have a bomb." The note instructed the flight attendant to sit next to Cooper. Looking visibly confused and wide-eyed, she complied. When Cooper opened a simple briefcase, he revealed a network of wires and 8 red cylinders, demanding that Florence note down his instructions. She then delivered the new instructions to the captain, who was required to provide 4 parachutes and $200,000 in $20 bills, approximately $1 million in today's values, upon arrival in Seattle. Otherwise, he would blow up the plane. At this point, another flight attendant, Tina Mucklow, became Cooper's main point of contact. Cooper continued to send his demands to the cockpit through Mucklow, while the passengers remained completely unaware of the situation. He also requested fuel trucks to refuel the aircraft in Seattle. Cooper assured that no one would disembark until the $200,000 and the parachutes were delivered, promising to release all the passengers after the delivery. Captain William Scott, in charge of the flight, kept the Seattle Airport Control Tower informed of all details, without the passengers suspecting anything. The flight, originally scheduled to last 37 minutes, was extended after the captain announced a delay due to minor difficulties. The plane circled over Seattle's terminal for 2 hours until the ransom was ready. Meanwhile, Tina Mucklow and Cooper chatted about casual topics. At 5:46 p.m., the Boeing 727 landed in Seattle. Tina Mucklow went out to collect the demanded items, and as Cooper checked the money in the bag, the passengers were released. After refueling at 7:40 p.m., the plane took off again, now with only the crew and hijacker on board, following the criminal's flight plan towards Mexico City. However, the hijacker ordered the entire crew to stay in the cockpit with the door closed. While complying with the order, Tina Mucklow saw Cooper strapping what appeared to be the money around his waist. By this time, the Boeing 727 was flying low and at reduced speed, following the precise instructions of the hijacker, who seemed to know exactly what he was doing. Around 8 p.m., somewhere between Seattle and Reno, the plane's rear stairway was activated. Using the intercom, Captain Scott asked if Cooper needed anything. An emphatic no was the last word they heard from him. He then jumped out of the back of the plane, disappearing into the darkness. Despite an extensive search, neither Cooper nor his parachute nor most of the ransom money were found. The only trace left was the tie he wore, along with 8 cigarette butts he smoked during the flight. The case quickly became a national obsession, with various theories emerging about Cooper's identity. Some believe he did not survive the jump, as the parachute Cooper used was not steerable, and his clothing and footwear were not suitable for a complicated landing. Moreover, he jumped into a wooded area at night, a dangerous situation even for an experienced parachutist, which evidence suggests he was not. Others believe he escaped and lived out the rest of his life incognito. In 1972, a year after the hijacking, the FBI received an unsigned letter claiming to be from D.B. Cooper. This document became one of the most enigmatic and controversial aspects of the case. The correspondence arrived at the FBI without an identified sender and featured a handwritten message. The text, though vague, indicated that the author was satisfied with the ransom and had no plans to continue criminal activities. The handwriting of the letter was similar to Cooper's, which led to speculation. The document underwent forensic analysis to verify its authenticity. The FBI conducted a detailed examination, looking at the handwriting, paper, and ink, but could not establish a definitive connection to the hijacker. Despite a thorough investigation, the letter did not provide any new substantial clues about Cooper's identity or whereabouts. Some experts consider it a possible forgery or an attempt to imitate Cooper's style without bringing additional relevant information. The FBI launched an extensive investigation, interviewing hundreds of people, tracking leads across the country, and scouring the aircraft for evidence, but without success. Richard Floyd McCoy was a primary suspect on the FBI's list. The Federal Bureau of Investigation located and arrested McCoy for a similar airplane hijacking involving a parachute escape less than 5 months after Cooper's case. However, McCoy was eventually ruled out as a suspect, as he did not match the nearly identical physical descriptions of Cooper provided by the flight attendants, among other factors that did not align with the hijacker's profile. In the years that followed, several leads emerged, but few answers. In 1980, an intriguing discovery was made. An 8-year-old boy whose family was vacationing in Washington state found 3 packages containing about $5,800 in $20 bills partially buried along the Columbia River bank. The bills were identified by the FBI as part of the ransom paid to D.B. Cooper, but the discovery raised more questions than answers. How did the bills end up there? Did Cooper leave them intentionally? Did this indicate he died in the fall? Theories proliferated, ranging from the idea that Cooper was an experienced ex-military person to more fantastical theories suggesting he was a secret agent. However, none of these theories have been proven, and Cooper's true identity remains a mystery. D.B. Cooper inspired a series of imitations, but his case is the only one among these incidents that remains unsolved in history. In 1972, at least 15 men attempted to hijack planes and escape by parachute. All were captured as soon as they touched down or died during the attempts. In response to these events, the U.S. government ordered on January 5, 1973, that airlines begin inspecting the luggage of all passengers on their more than 14,000 daily flights with the support of federal agents. This marked the beginning of a new era in aviation security, and from that point on, airplane hijackings became much rarer. In recent years, the investigation into the D.B. Cooper case has gained new momentum with the use of modern forensic analysis technologies. Eric Ulis, a researcher dedicated to the case, made an intriguing discovery. During a search in Vancouver, Washington, Ulis found a white sheet he believes is linked to Cooper. According to him, the sheet may have been used by Cooper to wrap the ransom money before disappearing into the forest. This item is currently being analyzed to determine its relevance to the case. Additionally, one of the most significant and potentially revealing clues is related to the tie Cooper left on the plane. This tie, forgotten on the seat before he jumped into the unknown, has undergone new analysis with technologies that were not available at the time of the crime. Scientists have applied modern metagenomic analysis techniques to try to isolate Cooper's DNA from the samples collected on the tie. The hope is that this analysis might finally reveal the true identity of the man who committed the daring hijacking. The investigation also led Ulis to a new theory about Cooper's identity. Based on metallic fragments found on the tie, Ulyss managed to trace these particles to a steel company in Pennsylvania called Crucible Steel. This company supplied materials to Boeing, raising the possibility that Cooper might have worked as an engineer or technician familiar with the aircraft he hijacked. Ulyss pointed to Vince Peterson, a titanium research engineer who worked for Crucible Steel, as a possible suspect. Peterson passed away in 2002, but the connection between him and the fragments found on Cooper's tie makes him one of the most compelling suspects to this day. Tina Mucklow, Cooper's main point of contact, was intensely pursued by the FBI and the press after the incident. She continued working as a flight attendant until 1980, when she left the profession to become a nun. In 1993, Mucklow left religious life and devoted herself to social work in Eugene, Oregon. For decades, she lived under a new identity and stayed out of the spotlight until being rediscovered in 2011, when photos of her began circulating on various websites. Although she has avoided public attention, in recent years Mucklow has given a few interviews for documentaries and journalists. The D.B. Cooper case continues to intrigue the public and investigators more than 50 years after the hijacking. With new discoveries and advances in forensic technology, we are closer than ever to uncovering Cooper's true identity. However, until definitive proof is found, the mystery persists, fueling theories and fascination worldwide. And you, what do you think? Are we finally about to solve one of the greatest criminal enigmas in U.S. history? Leave your opinion in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos on unsolved mysteries and curiosities from around the world. Until the next video.